What's up, Hoot fans? Welcome in. You're sitting in courtside with Karli and myself, Derek Jensen. Karli, start of the season's inching closer and closer with the starting training camps across the league on Sunday, and you just happen to be down at Saks today with the Sky. So, can you let not just myself, but our viewers and listeners know what you saw today?
Oh man, first day of training camp, man. Just for also, can we give a props to DJ for that phenomenal open?
Brush that open. Thank
He
you.
crushed it. So outside of that, so first off, jam packed at Saks Recreational. A lot of media there, and this is also the most crowded training camp I've seen in the like 3-4. This is the fourth season for me. Oh my gosh, fourth season
That's
covering
awesome.
them. That's crazy. Yeah, you had 20 people there. There were two people that were not there for the Sky, and that is their two draft picks in Koulibaly and Sioka. They were not there, but Westbeld and Haley Van Lith were there. Whether or not we see Koulibaly and Sioka kind of remains to be seen from conversations that Coach Marsh had with media. It seems like we most likely won't see them this year. Or this training camp. In my personal opinion, I think they're going to retain Sioka's rights. And then Koulibaly, for people who did not know, she suffered an ACL tear in January. So just from an injury standpoint, I didn't see her making the final roster. Just rehab is the most important thing, especially with ACL injuries. We've seen it across the league with certain players. We saw it with Juju. Paige Beckers have gone through it. Maddie, some other players have gone through it as well. So it's an injury that needs time and care. So
But at the
I
same
don't.
time, with the advancement of everything, these aren't those 8 to 12 month recoveries now.
Correct.
These ACL tears are 5 to 8 months, especially with these elite athletes. I mean, you saw Stephon Diggs, who just signed with the Pats, running routes, and he's 5 months off of an ACL. So,
Right.
as bad as the injury sounds, it's not as worrisome as we think it is in years past. But
Exactly.
let's just get right into it. Training
Yeah.
camp. What'd you see of Angel Reese? What'd you like so far from her?
And we only got to see 15 minutes of practice. And Marsh liked to run practice real long. It was supposed to be 11 to 1. We didn't even get to see anything until about 1:30. He made those girls work until about 2 o'clock. But from what I was able to see, uh, I saw more of the reserves. And what I mean by reserves are the people who are not on contract. So I saw more of Rebecca Allen. I saw more of Michaela Onyenwere. I saw a lot of Haley Van Lith. And let me tell you something. Haley Van Lith, from her like guard play offensively, I'm really intrigued to see how Vandersloot and her are going to work in tandem, because what Van Lith does really well is a lot of things off ball, is understanding, how to give up the ball to create space so that she can get the ball back in her hands and shoot it. We saw it at TCU, we saw it at LSU. That's kind of her bread and butter. What I'm really intrigued to see her do, and what I got a glimpse of slightly in training camp, is that passing game, feeding inside, feeding the bigs, feeding Camilla, and who they also had playing, that we were able to see, Jessica Carter, Morgan Birch, feeding the bigs inside and understanding how those bigs work. That I know is going to take time out of Haley, but from just a first day, and then remember, this is the first day of training camp, first day with the whole team, first day with the coaching staff, there's jitters, there's nervousness, So you could tell it, you could sense it, but I'm going to say this. She wrapped up, her media obligations and was straight back in the gym, shooting.
That's what you love to see.
And not just that, footwork, working on footwork. That we all know that she's got hot feet, and that's a good thing for people who don't know what that is. When I coach my girls, for people who don't know, I coach 7th grade girls basketball, and I hopefully want to follow them into 8th grade. I just love that group. They're so fun. I have them do something called hot feet, which is when I blow the whistle, I have their feet moving. Their feet have to be constantly moving. You want hot feet. You want hot footwork, and you want quick feet. And that's what she was working on, was footwork drills. She looked great. That shot is unbelievable.
Yeah,
She's
we saw a
going
little bit
to
of
be.
that picking up down at Unrivaled. So
Yeah,
I mean,
you know it's going to be there. What I saw right now, obviously reps are real low. What I saw though was a different level of energy that I've never seen under James Wade, under Teresa Weatherspoon. I've never seen this. It was just different in there. And what's crazy is I talked to players, I talked to coaching, I talked to coaching staff, and including staff that were here last season, including staff that were here under James Wade. And I was like, so it just seems like there's a different vibe. Like, what is it? And they looked at me and they're like, Karli, I honestly don't know what it is. It's just different right now. There is a winning culture being built. This is a brand new coaching staff under a first-year head coach with a lot of veterans on this team that have winning experience and have championship experience. This is a culture that is being created. There is chemistry that's already clicking. And what I loved is what we saw at the end of practice. They did a nice little shooting drill, free throw, three-pointer. And it got wrapped real quick, Kia Nurse knocks down the
When's the last time you've uttered those words at a Sky practice that shooting has wrapped quick?
I know.
Feel like year after year, it's like, all right, the only thing this team is missing is shooting. The only thing this team is missing is shooting. And now if you just look at the roster, like top down, like that's almost too much. Like it's almost too much shooting, which is never a bad thing. But in terms of Sky basketball, it's just like, what do we do? Because you're just not used to it.
It's true. It's a great problem for that coaching staff and
phenomenal problem.
Jeff Pagliacca to have. Phenomenal. But what I loved is after Kia hits the three, and they did this really cool celebration. I'm kind of speaking all over the place, but after Kia hits the three, Angel gets the rebound, and you just see Angel, Camilla, Ewil. You're seeing everybody that was on the baseline flock and dance and get excited and get happy. It's day one of training camp, day one. And I was really shocked at how it's just different. And when we spoke to Angel spoke to press shortly after. And if you want to read more about it, check us out on our website, courtsidewithkarlibell.com. Look at the plug. I'm so good at this, guys. Seamless. Angel, one thing I asked her, I said, obviously it's a lot different coming in as a rookie compared to year two, but what are things about Coach Marsh and what he's wanting to do with this team that's different? And she goes, it's a different culture here. I also have veterans that can help me. Not all the pressure's on me now.
Which was the entire case last year.
That was the whole
rightfully
issue.
So. With rookie coach, and then your two rookies are your faces of the team. As soon as draft night ended, it was, all right, hey, you have the keys to the kingdom. Now the pressure's on you. Best of luck, by the way.
Right.
And now you have, like you said, you have Marsh coming from Vegas, winning 2 championships. He understands what it takes to be a champion. And now you're bringing that mentality, work ethic, all that stuff to this team. And like you said, you can just tell with the vibes around at training camp on day one, let alone like everyone's bought in. And I honestly kind of felt that just being at his introductory presser too. Like you could tell like this was something he wanted this job. He really wanted this job, and bringing all that energy and what he learned from Becky in Vegas, like he's going to bring that here now to Chicago, and you can see it from what it sounds like at practice today.
And you can also feel the connection between Jeff and Marsh. I spoke with Jeff a little bit afterwards, and I said, how are you feeling? How's everything going? And he goes, I feel like I really got this right with this coaching hire. He's who I wanted, and I got him, and we have been in sync from the jump. And to hear that from your general manager about a first-year head coach is amazing to hear. And from just looking at how the energy is and everything different. And the other thing, I want to get back to what Angel said, though. Angel also said, I said, what are things that you learned being around those veterans? And she goes, sisterhood. We need to build that sisterhood. We need to have that chemistry. It's so important because you have to look, you don't need to be besties with everybody on the team. As someone who played on a team who was a complete won conferences, only lost 2 games, we did not really get along off the court. But the moment we got on the court and we were practicing, it's different. You have to learn how to put all that aside and check in and go to work. It's a lot different in the W because this is your job. So, whereas for me as high school, whatever. So
Yeah, it's still a job.
it's high school team's a lot different than a pro basketball
not getting
team.
paid, but you're earning those orange cups at halftime and Capri Suns
True.
post game. But yeah,
Not the Capri Suns. I was all about the Capri Suns though, bro. Anyway, so you could just tell it's different energy. It's so great. And to hear the confidence that Pagliacca has in Marsh is fantastic to hear. And he's not just saying, how you can talk to some people and they're just trying to say it because they have to say it because they want to save face. That was not the energy of this conversation. He was like, no, I feel I absolutely did the right thing here. Like, there was so much confidence in what he was saying. I truly believe, and granted, day one, so continue to follow us online on our socials at Courtside KB to get more updates from training camp. But I really do feel like this is a team that people are going to sleep on. People are going to sit there and be like, this guy, they haven't really, they've snuck in, they've gotten lucky. That's always been, what it's been. Even in the 21 team, they were a 6 seed. They had a 500 record and still won the title. Chicago's always been slept on. And I have a feeling this is a team, everything is so dependent on health, obviously. But I feel like this is a team that is going to surprise a lot of people. This is going to be a team that I could see finishing as high as 5, but no lower than 8. They will make the playoffs. I see that happening. This is a team that finally has shooting. They have length. They have size. They also have speed. People don't want to say this is a fast team. You have Haley Van Lith, Courtney Vandersloot. You also have Kia Nurse, Ariel Atkins, and then Angel. Angel looked fantastic in what I was able to see. She wraps her media availability and then immediately goes back out. She was one of the last people to leave the gym, shooting threes, working on that perimeter shot, really wanting to expand that shooting range. And what we were able to see of what she was inside, it is just light years better than what I saw last season. She has exponentially improved. And she even said unrivaled is the best thing that's ever happened to her. And I would agree.
I was just going to say that. That's probably the best thing that she needed to develop her game because who she worked with all the time. You saw the clips everywhere on social. It was her and Lisa Leslie, arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest WNBA player of all time. And you were getting that training at your disposal whenever. Like, you want to be a sponge on all those moments. And that's exactly who she said she wanted to be in her introductory press conference last year. She wants to be a sponge and learn as much as possible. And who's better than that than Lisa Leslie? But at the same time, too, all those girls down there, a lot of seasoned vets. So you're learning different games from different types of players. You're going to learn how to shoot, how to practice your free throw betters, like where you're going to post up wise on the block, how you're going to call for the ball while you're on set block, all that stuff. I think Unrivaled was the best thing to happen for Miss Reese.
And speaking of Lisa Leslie, someone asked her, they're like, what was it like working with Lisa and having that, full-on training that she was able to get one-on-one? And Angel said, she goes, Lisa was the first one that said that I should go pro. She said, ignore the rankings, ignore it. You have what it takes to go pro. Called her an auntie, called her all of this down there, saying that she was somebody that she really, like you said, was a sponge, and that's what she wanted to be down there. And she also showed a lot of love to Chelsea Gray. And I really believe that pairing of Angel and Chelsea in Unrivaled not only was great for Chelsea because Chelsea got to, do what Chelsea, she's point guard for a reason. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's a point guard for a reason, but Angel specifically working with someone like Chelsea and now is also going to work with someone in Courtney Vandersloot. She is going to understand what it's like to have a floor general. And if you get Haley Van Lith, while I see Haley kind of becoming possibly a 2, I think she really needs to understand how to lead from a floor general standpoint, which will come with time. It's going to come with so much development. That's what this rookie season is for. But I really believe that is going to be a deadly pairing once Haley continues to develop. That HVL to Angel connection is going to be something. You know how everyone sees, we see the Chelsea to Asia connection a lot? The KP when she was in Vegas to Asia. Chicago's going to have that in Haley Van Lith and Angel in due time. This year is Sloot to Angel. And I'm also going to say this. I think we're going to see a lot of Kia Nurse coming up in there. I think Kia Nurse is going to be a really interesting utility player for this guy. I think she can play 1 through 3. I really see her more as a shooting guard. I'm also really intrigued to see how Ariel Atkins fits in. I didn't get to see any of her. She was not playing while in the availability that media was allowed to see. Camilla also didn't get to see much of her in the availability that we were allowed to see. So again, day one, there's going to be more that we see, come day 2, day 3, that first preseason game against Brazil, all of that. It's going to be there. I'm really, really, really intrigued. And I know people are like, Karli, you just hyping them up. No, I know ball, fam. And this is going to be, this is going to be a team that people need to watch. This is going to be a team that is a sleeper team. They are going to pull off some upsets that some big people are going to be like, nah, this guy, whatever. No, this is going to be a deadly team if they stay healthy. That's the biggest
that's always
thing.
The if for every team.
Exactly.
But I do like your point about how lethal this team could be. And I don't think people really understand how well Jeff constructed this team with Coach March. Because if you pull up that roster and you just see these names, like, oh, yeah, cool. But if you deep dive into it, each player that they drafted has a corresponding vet to learn from and vice versa. And everyone is there to pick each other's brains. So you see Haley with Sloot with Kia. You see new signing with Jessica Carter and new assistant coach Courtney Paris with Camilla and Angel. So you're going to learn how to play the post. They're bringing back Morgan Birch. They drafted Westbeld as these 3-and-D defenders, athletic wings, can play 1 through 4 if they need to, 5 bearing injury. And who are they going to learn that from? Michaela Onyenuere, who just learned that last year and off season 2. So they're building pieces for every move that's been made has a direct correlation behind it. And like you said, I think people are going to sleep on this team just because it's Chicago and it's always been an underdog team, an underdog city. But if you just sit down and look at what each of these women bring, everyone is going to benefit from everyone. And with this coaching staff that Marsh developed and how he wants winners, he wants dogs, grit, grind. There is no better. It's just a perfect recipe that is coming together. And I can't wait to see it on May 2nd in that preseason game against the Brazilian national team down in Baton Rouge at LSU.
Which I'm going to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. They literally brought dogs on this team. Everybody in the W are hoopers, but everyone, I like to use this differentiation of phrases. There's a difference between being a basketball player, being a shooter, being a defender, and being a hooper. Being a basketball player is high IQ and you know the game real well. Being a shooter, that's like Steph Curry level. They can shoot lights out. Being a defender, think of, who could I compare them to?
Tony Allen.
There we go. I almost said Tim Allen. I'm like, that's not it. Tony Allen, in the face.
Tim Allen, Santa Claus. You're thinking of that. Home Improvement, shout out.
Just really disruptive in the face. And then there's hoopers. Hoopers are people that have that dog in them. They love the sport. And not only do they love the sport, they respect the hell out of the sport. And that is something that Marsh said is key in this team is we're going to respect the game. We're going to respect our teammates and we're going to respect our opponents, because if we don't have that, then what else do we have? And the other 2 words that he said that he's going to say a lot this year is commit and compete. He wants this team to be competitive, and that requires commitment out of the people that he brought on his roster. So this is going to be
fired up hearing that.
This is going to be a fun team, y'all. I got excited.
Everyone's bought in. Everyone's bought in. from the
Yes.
front office down. And we even saw that today too. Shout out assistant coach Ann Crosby. They were 20 years, nice little celebration at the end, like just respecting greatness. Like she's been there from almost inception, and that's just her attitude and the devotion to this organization. And Marsh wants everyone bought in the same exact way.
Well,
And when you're
Vandersloot
bought in like that too, Vandersloot as well.
Well, Vandersloot said something because they asked, they're like, because we saw these balloons come in and it said 20. I'm like, there's nobody on this team that's turning 20 today. Like, what's going on? Like, this is somebody's birthday. What's going on? And they did this great celebration to honor Ann Crosby. And if anyone in the media space has not met Ann Crosby, you should. Just a gem of an individual, trained all these girls from the inception. And Vandersloot said something after about, what does Ann mean to this team? And she goes, this is no shade to what the franchise, was when it started, but like our ice baths were in garbage cans, and Ann would go out there and fill up bucket by bucket in a garbage can, ice and water. She did everything that she could to take care of us and make sure that we're in the best shape possible. She goes, now she's got all the resources on the planet. And she goes, there's no Chicago Sky without Ann Crosby. And for them to they had this amazing video of all of these former players that Ann has taken care of, been a trainer for, that have been within the Sky organization. And if you don't know her pedigree, she's done unbelievable stuff with women from an Olympic standpoint in the NWSL and MLS and so many ways. Like, she is somebody who, for Sky fans that remember Ruthie Hebert, she was the one helping Ruthie plan out the pregnancy properly so that she could come back in time. She knows so much about how a woman's body works, especially from an athletic standpoint, so that these women can have not only healthy pregnancies, but get back fast. Ruthie gave birth at the end of April and was on a court mid-June. Like,
incredible.
You don't have that without Ann Crosby. You just
and the thing too
don't.
with Ann, with the like handful of practices and games that I've personally attended, she has a smile on her face 24/7. I don't think I've ever seen her not have a smile, and that's just indictment to how well she has structured herself and her craft, and all that it's paying off now. So shout out to Coach Crosby.
It was so cool. I got to give her a hug afterwards. I said, congratulations. Like, how does it feel? She goes, it doesn't feel like it's been 20 years. And I was like, I know, but you've done it. Like, you should really be proud of yourself.
Because when you love what you do, it's not work.
Exactly. Just how it's not work here for us on Courtside with Karli Bell. When, we talked a lot of Sky. We're going to get into the national stuff. But before we go to a national standpoint, we need to plug everything that we do here. So obviously, if you're watching us on YouTube, we appreciate you. Please subscribe, like, comment, do all that jazz. We also have a Twitter, an Instagram, a Blue Sky, a TikTok, everything, and it's all the same handle at Courtside KB. And then let's say you're like, you know what? I love listening to Karli and Zarek so much. How can I get more? Guess what? We got a Patreon, ladies and gentlemen. That is where I will be once a week on there, 10-15 minutes to just discuss other things that Derek and I were not able to get down here in the podcast, or we're just sitting there, and we're like, I want something completely separate on this topic. Maybe only 10-15 minutes, could be 20 minutes. We're going to have completely exclusive content on there for our members that sign up. We have 2 tiers. We have the man-to-man tier, which is basic. You just get this podcast and you want to support us. We appreciate you. Fantastic. I'm sorry, that's the zone tier. But then you go man to man. That's where you get our Patreon exclusive content. All there for only $6 a month, and you get some phenomenal content from myself. That's a steal. I mean, you pay more for Netflix. I'm sorry.
That is true. That is true. What's more important, Netflix or ball?
Ball is life, y'all. And then on top of that, you're like, you know what? I want to get more. Guess what? We have a full-blown website where I have been posting articles, all things there that will be updated as frequently as humanly possible, because I am a human. There's only so much that I can do. But that is courtsidewithkarlibell.com. I posted the mock draft there. training camp, where I'm going to be obviously discussing mostly just Sky, but we'll also have some WNBA stuff on there that is league-wide. So make sure you tune in, follow us on everything, subscribe on our YouTube, share the word with your friends, your family, your cousins, your second cousins, the stepkids, everybody. Everybody come and follow. And, we talk about WNBA news. DJ, we did everything with the Sky. Let's go from a full league standpoint. And there are a couple teams that we've really wanted to focus on just because of what they've done in free agency in the offseason. And the first one is the Seattle Storm. Unfortunately, they don't have Nika Mule, Jordan Horston for the season with the ACL tears. But day one of training camp, and from the things that you and I have read and what we've been able to keep up with, what are some things that have really kind of stood out to you and what the Seattle Storm can do for 2025?
This is going to be probably my second team I'm going to be dialed in on this season. It's a lot of fun. I kind of picked on them a little bit on our last episode about the draft, but after really going into it, I think they might have had the best draft of the teams. So going into this season, the biggest question mark was shooting. They were horrendous from three last year. Like the worst, if not the worst W team in 3-point shooting. And what did they do in this offseason? Oh, let's just bring back our two-time champion in 18 and 20 with Alicia Clark, who is a great shooter, also won rings in Vegas as well. So you have that championship pedigree coming back to you. Oh, by the way, here's Katie Lou Samuelson. She also had her best shooting career back in 2021 when she was with the Storm. She shot 46% from the field. Boom. Then you add Erica Wheeler. You have Zaya Cook, who's a great piece off the bench. But then you go into the draft. And I think they hit on their picks with the draft. So obviously we know they went second. They took Dominique Malonga out of France. Everyone's calling her the next Wemby. The video they tweeted out right away was her dunking. So best of luck to that whoever has to guard that front court. And that's her. That's McGregor. Who else? That name?
Ezzy Magabor. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Ezzy.
Best of luck to anyone who's driving in that lane, because that's going to get sent back 5 rows.
Literally.
But they also drafted Serena Sundrell, who just fell in her lap. I thought she would go late first round, and we
talked about that too.
Yeah, she dropped all the way, and it worked out perfectly because, like you mentioned, Nika Mule will not be playing this year. Neither will Jordan Worston, both off of bad knee injuries. So she just fell to her lap. And what did she do in college at Kansas State? She's just their all-time assist leader. So there's your point guard. There's your backup point guard right there. Who's she going to learn from? Oh, Skylar Smith. Oh,
Skylar Diggins. Skylar Diggins.
Sorry about
that's
that.
Right.
Skylar Diggins. That just popped up. She dropped the hyphen. Skylar Diggins. My bad.
We respect.
Anyways, yes. Please don't come at me. My mentions are everywhere. I promise you that I'm no disrespect.
No disrespect. True.
But yeah, so now she's going to learn from her, which a great sponge to have. And then their next pick was HVL's teammate, Maddie Connor, out of TCU, who just led the country with 128 threes and also set TCU's single season leader. She also shot 45% from range, which was 10th in the country. Not Big 12, not Power
really
5.
Did a good job. I know, in the whole
country. So that team, I have them circled every time they're playing. That's going to be fun. And just Seattle basketball in itself is such a fun time. Let's bring back the Sonics. We saw how great that was.
Nice.
And they're continuing that. That hasn't stopped with the Storm. And they have all these pieces for Coach Quinn now. So I think that's going to be something to look forward to if anyone needs a new team to root for.
So that's probably the only team in green and gold that actually is worth rooting for. Sorry. The NFL draft just happened, and and it was in that lovely town. Is it lovely? It's it's in Wisconsin, but I'm sorry, I'm a Bears fan. I can't help myself. We're not going to get into the NFL draft. That's a whole other podcast for a whole other day on a different completely name. We're here courtside. We're talking hoops. So not only was Seattle a team, we were talking about it, all day today, but also Atlanta, which we've kind of talked about a little bit too, where we both believe they can be sneaky. But what is it about the dream? I mean, obviously you get BG and you get Brianna Jones in free agency, but what are things that you see out of Atlanta that really has you interested in what they're going to do this year?
The Dreamer dreaming. They had a fun offseason. Like they like took me by surprise of what they did. Like you said, they got BG, they got Brianna Jones and SKW from DC.
Oh, that's right.
Shout out Terps. Come on now. You think I'm gonna forget my ladies in the league? So like you
True.
add that, so boom, that's 3 proven vets to a team that had I don't even know if they even had like a full roster at the time going into the draft. And so now you have a brand new regime. You have a new GM. The head coach is former Sky assistant Sidney Johnson. So now he's got that.
That's Washington. Disposal. That's Washington. Atlanta. Sydney's in Washington.
Hey, we're teasing Washington. We're teasing Washington next one.
We're getting excited with that. But
sorry,
back to
training camps got me flustered. I'm happy. We're everywhere.
No, but what you see out of Atlanta
added a lot of fun. And then you have to remember there's Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, and Jordan Canada as well. So that's a
nice backcourt.
That's just a nice backcourt, great, and then a nice corresponding front court as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's BG. How do you not, it's BG, for God's sakes. It's BG. You have to obviously, hello.
I did like the Pow Pow pick too. I know she fell, but that again, it was a super heavy like guard draft class. Like, I can't think the next time we'll see something where it's just, or maybe I guess next year. But it's still a lot of guards being taken. Yeah. I like that she fell. That was a nice slot. Bring all that to her, and she's going to learn from all those vets I just listed. Yeah. And it's again, everyone. It's going to be a sponge, so it's a perfect fit for all of them. Should be fun to see what they're doing. She brings that like toughness, defensive mentality from South Carolina under Coach Staley. So she's already got a dog in her, and so she's going to bring that to that new identity under this regime that they're looking forward to improve on and hopefully make the playoffs.
I'm excited to see how Tahina learns from Ryan. I think that'll be a really cool pairing. And you made a great point on what Tahina's defensive game can do. She's got a real great tenacity. And the other thing is like, yeah, she's small. She got hands, though. But you want to know who else is small? Is Georgia Amore on Sidney Johnson's team in Washington. Look at how excited he was! Just so ready to talk Mystics. He's like, we got to talk about the DMV. Let's get into it.
You can't knock the 2019 champs. No. But yeah, no, that just going into this season, like off season, there's just a massive, just question mark, just everywhere. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what is going on? That when we talk rebuild, this is that. You saw their 3 picks in the top 6. They had 5 total. This is great for the new GM and Coach Johnson's disposal. Like I said, 5 draft picks, 4 of them are guard. But like when we were watching the draft, we were a little shocked that they took Amore out of Kentucky at 6 just because of her height and size. She's 5'6", so obviously that is considered small to a lot of players. But she always mentioned her heart. You can't put a cap on heart. She had a great post-draft interview with Taylor Rooks talking about what's going to elevate her game from college to the pros. And she obviously mentioned her heart, but her brain too. She is undersized, but that didn't stop her from adapting to what's happening on the court. Seeing bigger defenders come your way. Now you have to process and think quickly on the spot. Okay, here they're coming right. I need to call for a screen. However, they know they see it on the right. Let me just fake right and go left. And then if you drive that, as soon as you drive, that's going to collapse the court. Someone on the outside is going to be open. So yeah, she loved talking about just her brain, and just off that explanation right there, like you can see it all in full display too. Plus, a lot of people don't realize too, she's one of 3 girls in the entire NCAA women's basketball history that had finished her career with 2,300 plus points and 800 plus assists. If you want to guess the other 2, knock yourself out, Karli.
I mean, I believe, I want to say like KP is probably in there. Probably not. I'm going to probably Caitlin is in that
It's
conversation.
Caitlin and Sabrina.
Oh, see, I was close.
So those three.
I was close. Sabrina went to Oregon, KP, Washington. I was in the right coast.
You're
I
in
was on the
Pacific
right
Northwest.
I was
give you
in
that.
the PNW. I was in the right area. There we go. Wow. So, this is one thing. I know everyone was like, Karli, Georgia Amor, going first round. You're going to eat your words. I did eat my words, okay? And I will take the L. It's just, I'm a 6 foot tall girly, and I want my tall girls to have their moment. But the one thing, and as we heard in that interview, what she lacks in size, she makes up for in IQ. And
that's what you want in a point guard. That's exactly what you want in your point guard is high IQ, high motor, like quickness, adapting on the fly. Like you see something coming your way, what are you going to do? Are you going to fade or are you going to actually embrace what's coming, take on the challenge? And I think that's exactly what the Mystics got with Georgia. I mean, obviously they knocked it out too with Kiki as well.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Sonia, they did everything
Sonia
else.
too. Yeah. So now you have you have Sonia and Georgia going head to head against each other now in practice. And then again, the whole sponge concept, learning what they can do with one another, Sonia more the shooter, Georgia more the facilitator. So now you bring in both those minds together. So now they're working to see, all right, how can we coexist one another when they come there too? And then obviously Kiki is going to be your face down there in the post, learning from, I think, another former Terp great, Shakira Austin.
And also Leah Edwards down there too. Like the bigs, Washington's kind of, what Chicago needed last year was size, and now like what they needed this year is guards. Washington was reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Last year they needed the guards, or last year they needed the guards. This year they kind of needed the size. So now you have Shakira, Kiki, and also Leah Edwards, and you got Big Steph down there too. Like they're set in the size department. It's that guard group now that I look at and I'm like, okay, is Georgia going to be the starting PG?
It's a lot of plug and play, which should be fun for Sydney Johnson. But you don't want to be 20, 22 games halfway through in the season and you still have no identity at that plug and play point guard. So I think the Mystics training camp should be something everyone should have their eye on of what they're going to do with the guards moving forward.
And I'm going to just give a shout out if for any Mystics fans that do listen to this, Kareem Copeland, man, is all over it for the Washington Post. Phenomenal person to follow. He knows ball incredibly well, very well versed in Mystic stuff. Anytime I got a question, I shoot him a text. I'm like, what's going on over there? Help me out. So he's fantastic. I'm going to, always plug him. But yeah, that's kind of what training camp is. We're only day one in. This is just the first day. And there's, we got I think all the first preseason games are this week. No, for like every team.
It seems like it's got to be like it's this weekend. Some playing more than others.
Yeah.
But it all starts this weekend, and then you got the regular season in 2 weeks after. It's here, everyone. It's here. There's no stoppage.
It feels like free agency was just 3 weeks ago. It really does. And now it's like, oh no, draft, training camp. Here we go. Like ready to get locked in. And you want to know where you can stay locked in for all this W stuff, DJ?
Where can I stay locked in?
Courtside with Karli Bell. Right here, anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Carrier Pigeon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, that's where we are. And DJ, we got a lot of great things coming on Twitter as well. I refuse to call it X. It is Twitter. There's some phenomenal things that we're going to have on there. I put some videos up already from the first day of camp. I will have more coming. And please follow us at Courtside KB on all platforms. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And I hope you join us next time on The Sideline.